Okay, I'm going to start the video going down the stairs. So, as you can see, as the same with throughout the whole house, the flooring they did not cover. So there's paint that they have to remove all over the floor. There is, in this downstairs bedroom, there's issues with the trim that isn't properly set up. As you can see, there's just they didn't set it up to meet the other side of the trim, so that needs to be fixed. There is issues with the transition because they put the flooring in wrong. They didn't put a transition when they did the closets. And there's gaps over here that need to be filled, so they need a transition here, and there's gaps that need to be filled on this side. There's also their shelving. None of the shelves are as long as they should be anywhere in this house. So they need to repaint those because they're painted sloppily. And the ceiling in here, as you can see, is not painted, but also it's cracking because they didn't properly fix it. All right. Now there are some issues that can be overlooked, like some of the trim just needs some caulking if they were going to finish. If we were going to hire someone else to come in and do it, they're going to do it all. There is issues with the paint. They overpainted. There's issues with like the windowsill that they painted and didn't finish. There is some more issues. For the most part, this bedroom is done other than the floor. And I'm seeing that as you can see, there is a large gap that they need to fill. Like this part is so bad. It's where I can get my hand underneath it. So that definitely needs to be fixed. Now it's not all the way down, but it does go a good bit of it. All right, the trim needs to be, the paint needs to be better trimmed because there's overpaint on both sides, the ceiling and the wall. So they need to do a better job of trimming that. There are vents that are missing that they need to fix in this room. Also, paint issues, things that can possibly be overlooked that they need to fix. But there's like overpaint and still holes in the wall that haven't been filled. And there's some on this side as well. And the paint is just not properly done for things like this. It should not show the grain through. This one's a little better, but not too much better. All right. Now this is brand new carpeting that looks to be ruined or messed up. There's joints like this one that need to be caulked and filled that don't meet. This wall is showing that the wall is not flush against the wall and it hasn't been caulked. Caulking may help that, or nailing it all the way to the wall. And as you can see, there's a giant gap here that hasn't been properly because they didn't measure properly, and it doesn't go all the way to the wall. So that would have to be filled with caulking, probably a lot of caulking, and then, or mud or something, and then masked over. But as you can see, this hasn't been caulked very well, so it's coming loose. This one does look to be a little better, but as you can see, like the coverings are not all the way to the wall. There's a bulge in the wall because they didn't properly drywall the wall. Here is, once again, still needs to be more caulking. But you should not see a black line going across your whole room. But other than that, and the fact that these walls look to be two separate colors, this wall is one color and this wall is a different. As you can see, they need to be both the same color. It just looks to be that it's this wall that is, it looks to be that it's just that wall that is a different color. All the other walls look to be right. Now there is also a vent cover that is missing or not here. So I'm not sure what they plan to do for that. But as you can see, the vent in there doesn't even reach the ceiling. There's a gap that needs to be filled so that the air doesn't just go that way. Also, there are some holes in the recessed lighting that they chose to do. We didn't ask them for recessed lighting. We asked for a duplicate of this, and they gave us that recessed lighting. We're not upset. We just wanted them to do it correctly. All right. Now, once again, down here, there's corner bead that was not properly put in. So there is a joint at the top that needs to be caulked off or mudded off, and then corner bead needs to be put in to finish this. Same with this side, but it looks to be that this side is damaged. It's cracking, it's dented, and that's been like that. It's not soft. Well, it is soft now, but it initially wasn't. And that runs all the way down. So there needs to be some type of trim or something. All right, so in the bathroom, before you get to the bathroom, the entry to the garage, that looks to need to be shored up as well because it's not even and it's not all the way painted. As you can see here, it's even yellowing because it's not all the way painted. All right, now in this bathroom, there was water in here that we cleaned up. And here's the remnants of the dirt and debris and water that was here that needs to be cleaned up. All right, here is the sink that needs to be cleaned off that they put on. All right, and it still needs outlet covers. Still needs a better vent cover. It looks to be they used the same vent cover and just painted it. Didn't even spray paint it. They just painted it with a brush. And it looks terrible. And there is a vent cover that's needed here. Now, we do have the floor that was actually grouted. Now, it's not the best. As you can see, there are some issues with it. But it's a lot better than what it was. There are some issues on top of this that we need to have removed, like there's grout and paint that need to be scraped off. And this giant bathtub needs to be moved out of the room. There are still, like the dryer plug or outlet that needs to be covered up because, as you can see, there's giant holes in it that need to be covered up. And it looks to be that they may even have put mud over the actual hole itself. So there's some mudding on the actual outlet itself. So that needs to be cleaned off. These need to be better secured to the wall because the outlets are looking like they're falling out or they're coming out or they're not all the way in. So those need to be better addressed because there's whole gaps. They did change and put a washer box in here instead of a utility sink. All right, and here is the tracking for the barn door that they were going to use, but they realized they didn't have one barn door, they needed two. So they stopped there. All right. So that is basically up. And the unit for the garage door, they put in a garage door opener and to go with the garage door, and it does not open. We do have the clickers for the garage door, and there's on the other wall there's a button, but that is not operational. They did paint the garage as well, so that looks to be halfway decent. I do believe that if we gave someone the cost of materials, if we were able to give them the cost of materials and allow them to, so give them a deposit for the materials and allow them to finish, it would take about 7 to 14 days. And 7 to 14 days tops, and they would be able to completely finish this house and have it on the market. But we would have to then pay them immediately after for the remaining of the balance of our renovation budget. Now, I think right now that we have, I'm being told that we have about $1,500 to $3,000 in materials still left needed for this project to be finished. So if we could just give them a deposit for that, I believe we would be able to search for someone or find someone to allow us to finish this house and get it on the market finally.